For many years, the NBA has been a league dominated by point guards, with many of the top teams including the best floor generals. The weakest teams frequently try to improve their standing each season. After Magic Johnson dominated the NBA from the point guard position in the 1980s, winning 5 championships, the league changed course in the 1990s when Michael Jordan broke through. In the 1990s, the GOAT won 6 championships and Hakeem Olajuwon took home 2. Strangely, none of the players on our list of the top point guards from the 1990s hoisted a banner. Basketball in 1990 was some of the best ever. There were many outstanding players, but the point guard position had the most variety of any position.
22 different point guards participated in the All-Star Game between 1990 and 2000, including 3 times in 1990.
Did a point guard win MVP of the All-Star Game? Magic Johnson won it twice in 1990 and 1992, while John Stockton won it once in 1993. Nevertheless, our ranking of the best point guards of the 1990s is chock full of all-time great players who had the unlucky misfortune of competing in an era dominated by Michael Jordan and Hakeem the Dream. Terry Porter. In his prime, Porter averaged 15 points and 10 assists per game while playing with the Trailblazers, helping them to 2 NBA Finals and 2 All-Star appearances. Porter is currently fairly underrated as a player. With 4,190 assists, Porter is ranked 9th overall for the decade. The Chicago Bulls, Atlanta Hawks, Golden State Warriors, and San Antonio Spurs all targeted Porter in the 1985 NBA Draft. The majority of draft experts, including Bob Ryan of the Boston Globe, predicted that he would be selected by the Houston Rockets with the 19th overall choice, but Jan Hubbard of the Dallas Morning News predicted that he would be selected by the Detroit Pistons with the 18th overall pick. He was regarded as the runner-up for the position of point guard, after Sam Vinson of Michigan State. In addition to being one of the best free throw shooters in NBA history, Price was a very competent point guard who helped Cleveland reach the Eastern Finals in 1991 before going All-NBA the following year. Price was a dead-eye shooter who was capable of taking out a team from the city center. He puzzled those who argued he was too sluggish, too little, and too deliberative for a high-level game as a point guard. He was chosen by the Dallas Mavericks in the first round of the 1986 NBA selection, 25th overall, but was traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers on draft day, enabling them to become a force in the Eastern Conference. Kevin Johnson. Johnson was chosen by the Cleveland Cavaliers as the 7th overall choice in the 1987 NBA Draft. Originally selected by Cleveland in order to challenge starter point guard Mark Price.
Johnson, Mark West, Tyrone Corbin, and a future selection pick were exchanged for forward Larry Nance, Mike Sanders, and a future draft pick on February 28, 1988, and sent to the Phoenix Suns.
Johnson flourished after swiftly acclimating to the new environment and much more playing time, earning the NBA Rookie of the Month award for April 1988. His quick development led to him winning the NBA's Most Improved Player award in 1988 to 1989 during his first full season with Phoenix. Johnson joined Oscar Robertson and Isaiah Thomas as the only players in league history to accomplish that feat in the 1988-89 season, the first of 3 straight seasons in which he averaged at least 20 points and 10 assists. This season also marked the start of a new era for the Suns franchise, which had been in a state of decline. The Suns were the only team to record at least 50 victories every year during KJ's first 7 full seasons in Phoenix, 1989 to 1995, winning the most regular season games in the NBA, 394, an average of 56 and never fewer than 53, and the second most playoff games, 46, behind only the Chicago Bulls. As a 3-time All-Star for the Suns, Johnson assisted them in 1993 as they advanced to the NBA Finals. One of the few point guards who could execute a stunning dunk, he was one of the most athletic players of his day. KJ appeared in 3 NBA All-Star games and 4 times during his career, averaging over 10 assists per game. In the 1993 NBA Draft, the Golden State Warriors picked Hardaway with the 3rd overall pick. However, for the rights to Chris Webber, the 1st overall pick, Hardaway and 3 other future first-round picks were traded to the Orlando Magic. Before Hardaway, who wanted to play with O'Neal, asked for a second workout to convince the Magic that he should be their pick, the Magic intended to select Webber and pair him with Shaquille O'Neal. Hardaway played in a pickup basketball game with numerous Magic players and local talent 2 days prior to the draft, and his performance impressed the organization enough to result in the trade on Selection Day. He began the season as a shooting guard while learning how to play point guard from seasoned veteran Scott Skiles. By the middle of the season, he replaced Skiles as the point guard. He had an early effect on the league and was named MVP of the first Chick rookie game. A playoff spot for the Magic was made possible by Hardaway. He placed 6th in the league with 190 steals while averaging 16 points, 6.6 assists, and 5.4 rebounds per game. On April 15, against the Boston Celtics, he earned his first triple-double of his career with 14 points, 12 assists, and 11 rebounds. He received recognition for his work by being named to the NBA All-Rookie First Team and finishing second to Chris Webber for Rookie of the Year. His tale is among the most heartbreaking ones in the NBA throughout the 1990s. A talented combo guard who assisted the Magic in reaching the 1995 NBA Finals, Hardaway later struggled with a string of injuries that ultimately forced him out of the league. Many believe that he would have gone down in NBA history as one of the greatest players ever had he not been injured, but as it was, he made 4 All-Star teams and twice received the All-NBA honor. Tim Hardaway. The Golden State Warriors selected Hardaway as the 14th overall choice in the 1989 NBA Draft. Manute Bol wore Hardaway's number 10 during his rookie season, while Hardaway wore 5. Hardaway inherited the number after Bol quit the Warriors. The initials of the players' first names and a play on the name of the well-known rap duo Run DMC led to the formation of the trio known as Run TMC, which included Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, and Chris Mullin. Hardaway led Run TMC's fast break as part of the Warriors' attack, showing off his great passing and one-on-one talents to complement Richmond's slicing and Mullin's shooting. As a Warrior, Hardaway was a 3-time NBA All-Star and missed the entire 1993 to 1994 season due to a knee injury. Other than Oscar Robertson, he was the only NBA player to accomplish 5,000 points and 2,500 assists so quickly. Hardaway played for the Warriors up to the midway point of the 1995 to 1996 campaign, when he and Chris Gatling were transferred to the Miami Heat in exchange for Kevin Willis and Bimbo Coles. After being traded to Miami in midseason, Hardaway started 28 games to close off the season, scoring 17.2 points per contest while dishing out 10 assists. Miami made the playoffs, but the 72-win Chicago Bulls swept them in the opening round. The following season was a major success for Miami and for Hardaway as Miami set a team record with 61 victories and he finished 4th in the NBA Most Valuable Player Award voting. He was also chosen for the All-NBA First Team. One of the craziest players to ever play, Tim Hardaway used his deadly crossover to devastating effect. However, unlike the majority of showboaters, Hardaway was also a versatile player who could play on both sides of the ball. He was an NBA player once and a 5-time All-Star with the Heat and Warriors. Magic Johnson. The Los Angeles Lakers selected Johnson 1st overall in the 1979 NBA Draft. The opportunity to play with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he claimed, was what was most fantastic about joining the Lakers. Despite Abdul's supremacy, Jabbar's the Lakers had not yet won a championship, and Johnson was expected to help them accomplish that. Even though incumbent Norm Nixon was already one of the finest in the league, Lakers coach Jack McKinney decided to play the 6'9" rookie Johnson at point guard. Some pundits believe Johnson belonged at the forward position. Johnson was chosen for the NBA All-Rookie team, started the NBA All-Star Game, and had a season average of 18.0 points, 7.7 rebounds, and 7.3 assists. The Lakers finished the regular season with a 60-22 record and advanced to the 1980 NBA Finals, where they met the Julius Erving-led Philadelphia 76ers. The Lakers led the series 3-2, but Abdul-Jabbar missed Game 6 after injuring his ankle in Game 5. The Lakers won 123-107 in Game 6 thanks in part to coach Paul Westhead's decision to start Johnson at center. During the course of the game, the Lakers also used guard, forward, and center rotations. Johnson became the first rookie to win NBA Finals MVP, and his clutch outing is still recognized as one of the best in league annals. He also joined a select group of 4 players who have won back-to-back NBA and NCAA titles. Johnson missed the beginning of the 1980-81 season due to cartilage damage in his left knee. Johnson missed 45 games and returned before the 1981 playoffs began, but future Lakers head coach and then assistant Pat Riley subsequently claimed Johnson's much-awaited return caused the Lakers to become a split team. The 54-win Los Angeles Lakers played the 40-42 Houston Rockets in the first round of the playoffs, and Houston defeated the Lakers 2-1 after Johnson eyeballed a last-second jumper in Game 3. Johnson was selected to the All-NBA second team despite his issues off the court, averaging 18.6 points, 9.6 rebounds, 9.5 assists, and a league-high 2.7 steals per game. He was also one of only 3 NBA players to record at least 700 points, 700 rebounds, and 700 assists in the same season, along with Wilt Chamberlain and Oscar Robertson. The Lakers won the 1982 NBA Finals after advancing through the 1982 playoffs and facing Philadelphia for the second time in 3 years. As the Lakers defeated the Sixers 4-2, Johnson was named the MVP of the NBA Finals for the second time. Johnson later claimed that Riley was the reason the Lakers started to become a great team in his 3rd season. Magic, who is regarded as the best point player of all time, is included on the 1990s list despite having only played 2 seasons in that decade at point guard and 1 at semi-power forward. However, during his 2 seasons in the 1990s, Magic led the Lakers to the NBA Finals in 1991, was named the league's most valuable player in 1991, and was a 2-time All-Star. Johnson also earned 2 MVP titles for the All-Star Game after being passed over frequently in the 1980s. Mark Jackson. The New York Knicks selected Jackson as the 18th overall choice in the 1987 NBA Draft. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, he worked with Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley to transform the Knicks into a top playoff team. He was transferred to the Los Angeles Clippers in 1992, though, before the Knicks reached their peak and started to consistently compete for the playoffs. Jackson won the 1988 Rookie of the Year title, making him the lowest overall draft pick to do so since 1958's Woody Salisbury. Jackson had a consistent career with the Knicks, particularly when playing under coach Rick Pitino. Up until the 2016-17 season, he was the only non-lottery pick to receive the honor since the system's establishment in 1985. With Ewing at his side, Jackson led the Knicks to the Atlantic Division title in 1989, the number 2 seed in the East, behind the eventual champion Detroit Pistons, whom they swept 4-0 in the regular season, and his lone All-Star Game appearance. Following a contract extension before the 1990 campaign, Jackson started to lose his All-Star form. As a result, he started to face tough competition from backup guard Rod Strickland, and then after Strickland was traded away, Maurice Cheeks. At this point, Knicks coach Stu Jackson decided to bench Mark Jackson for the entirety of their pivotal first-round Game 5 against the Boston Celtics. New York defeated Boston to advance to the second round. He was moved to the Los Angeles Clippers after the 1991-1992 season, along with Doc Rivers and Charles Smith, who went to the New York Knicks. Jackson led the Clippers to their second of 2 straight playoff berths while he was a member of the franchise, working with Danny Manning, Ron Harper, and head coach Larry Brown. The Clippers would not again make the playoffs in back-to-back seasons until the 2011 to 2012 and 2012 to 2013 campaigns. One of the NBA's most overlooked players in history is Mark Jackson. As the starting point guard for numerous championship-caliber teams, notably the 2000 Indiana Pacers, who advanced to the NBA Finals, he ranks second all-time in assists. Jason Kidd. The Dallas Mavericks chose Kidd with the second overall choice, slightly ahead of Grant Hill of Duke and Purdue's Glenn Robinson. Sharing the 1995 NBA Rookie of the Year award with Detroit Pistons Hill. The Mavericks had the worst record in the NBA, 13-69, the season before Kidd was selected by them. The Mavericks' record improved to 36-46 after Kidd's first season with the team, which was the largest improvement in the NBA by a margin of 23 games. Kidd was selected as a starter for the 1996 All-Star Game the following season. The maneuver that most people connected him with during his first two seasons with the Mavericks was the baseball pass. Kidd, Jim Jackson, and Jamal Mashburn made up the three J's in Dallas. After promising beginnings, the group's situation deteriorated. The Mavericks regressed rather than advanced as a result of Mashburn's injury and the deterioration of interpersonal ties between the young team leaders. The Mavericks' decision to move Kidd, a rising star who was just in his third season in the NBA, was influenced by his ongoing issues with the coaches. During the 1996-97 NBA season, Kidd was dealt to the Phoenix Suns along with Tony Dumas and Loren Meyer for Michael Finley, A.C. Green, and Sam Cassell. His first full season with the Suns in 1997-98 saw a 16-game increase in the team's win total. With Kidd regularly leading a small group of four guards, Kidd, Kevin Johnson, Rex Chapman, and Steve Nash, being on the floor at once, along with Antonio McDyess at center, the Suns, who finished the season with a 56-26 record, were known for their fast-paced style of play. Phoenix was eliminated from the playoffs by the San Antonio Spurs, who were led by the Twin Towers pair of David Robinson and Tim Duncan, who are also members of the Hall of Fame. In terms of triple-doubles, he is currently second only to Oscar Robertson all-time in the NBA. Throughout his career, Kidd has performed all tasks required of him by his teams, whether they involve scoring, passing, or regaining the ball. Kidd was a two-time All-Star in the 1990s and was selected to the NBA All-Star team during the lockout season. Gary Payton. Seattle Supersonics selected Payton with the second overall choice in the 1990 NBA draft. Payton's first double-double of his career came in his third career game, a road victory over the Nuggets.
In a losing effort against the Suns on February 23, 1991, Payton earned his first triple-double of his career.
Payton had a low point total of just 2 in the game after that, but he had a career-high 16 assists. He was one of just 3 Supersonics players to hand out 16 or more assists during his first campaign, along with Slick Watts and Nate McMillan. Payton had the most double-doubles, 8 points and 8 assists, in Supersonics history during his first season. Payton played for the Sonics for his first 12.5 seasons. Payton struggled throughout his first 2 seasons in the league despite star-studded expectations before quickly establishing himself as one of the league's finest point guards in the 1990s. When he was selected to the All-NBA third team in 1994, he received the first of 9 straight All-NBA teams. The All-NBA first team in 1998 and 2000, All-NBA second team in 1995, 1996, 1997, 1999, and 2002, and All-NBA third team in 1994 and 2001 were all honors bestowed to Payton in the future. He was chosen for the NBA All-Defensive First Team 9 times in a row, 1994 to 2002, a record. In 1996, he became the first point guard to earn the NBA Defensive Player of the Year award. 9 times, he has been chosen for the NBA All-Star team, and in 1997 and 1998, he was chosen as a starter. coached by George Karl, Payton, and the Supersonics made it to the NBA Finals in 1996 after winning a franchise record 64 games and falling to Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls in 6 games. Howard Schultz, who acquired the Supersonics in 2001, and Payton had a falling out. Schultz made the decision to trade Payton in 2002 after Payton failed to show up for the opening day of training camp. John Stockton. The Utah Jazz took Stockton with the 16th overall choice in the first round of the 1984 NBA draft in June. He was virtually unknown during his time in college, but in the months leading up to the draft, his stock drastically increased. On draft day, thousands of Jazz fans were assembled at the Salt Palace, but when his selection was announced, there was a startled quiet.
In a defeat to the Denver Nuggets on November 10, 1984, Stockton recorded his greatest scoring performance as a rookie.
In the 1987-88 season, Stockton took over as the Jazz's starting point guard. He participated in his first All-Star game in 1988-89, the first of 9 seasons in which he led the NBA in assists per game.
In a 124-102 home victory over the San Antonio Spurs, Stockton threw up a career-high and franchise record 28 assists on January 15, 1991.
On February 12, Stockton defeated the Houston Rockets 113-92, coming close to a triple-double. Stockton and the Jazz made history in 1992 when they made it to the Western Conference Finals for the first time, but the Portland Trail Blazers upset them in 6 games. Stockton shared the 1993 All-Star Game MVP award with Malone, and Salt Lake City hosted the event. Stockton reached a lot of landmarks in the 1994-1995 campaign.
He overtook Magic Johnson as the NBA's all-time leader in assists on February 1, 1995.
Stockton provided 15 assists in a 108-98 victory over the Boston Celtics 17 days later. The first player to ever have a career with 10,000 assists. After registering 6 steals in a 117-110 defeat to the Dallas Mavericks on March 25, Stockton recently passed Shaquille O'Neal as the second player in NBA history to reach 2,000 career thefts. In 1994 and 1996, Stockton and the Jazz both made it to the conference finals, but they fell short to the Houston Rockets and the Seattle Supersonics, respectively.